I'm going to do this with you because before I record, I always love to just take a moment to close my eyes, drop deeply into my breath, take a full inhale through your nose, fill your belly up. And on that exhale, let it all go. Releasing any tension, any expectations, and just allowing yourself to be, to breathe, to be where your 2 feet are. And just take in anything you need today. Fill yourself up with that energy. And as you open your eyes, let's bring that forward. This is the energy right here that I know I want to continue to bring forward in my life. We have entered a new year. It is 2026, and a new year always brings on this level of pressure for me. When you're online, it's like there's so much information overload of how all of these people are going to show up as their best selves and transform their lives. And it's so great to live in that mindset. But I really want to just take it a step further where you see a lot of vision boards, and I think vision boards are amazing. I made a vision board, but what I think is missing, that is the most important step in really bringing a vision to life, is looking at where you are aligning your actions to make this vision become a reality, to make it really a part of you, to bring it into your life. Before I sat down to do, and I don't make vision boards. I want to be honest with you. I've done it once before, but I was at my girlfriend's, Isabella Grutman's, and she was like, "Do you want to do a vision board party?" I'm like, "Yes." I feel like that sounds like the kind of party I want to go to. And it was so nice to really sit with yourself. And before I got there, I made a list of all of the things that I want to call in. And on top of the things that I want to call in, and some of them are material things, and I'm not going to be shy about that. But I really sat with who I want to be and who I want to show up as. And it's a beautiful thing to get really grounded in yourself and to visualize and embody what you desire. But in order to really become the energy of the things that you want to attract into your life, you have to be that energy. And not just when you want something. We have to really look at how we're showing up when the phone's not on, when the camera's not on. How are we talking to our partner, to our kids, to our team, to our friends? Do we always have this underlying annoyed irritation? I was that person. I was always constantly irritated, and there would be this undertow of agitation. And that really created a domino effect of energy in my life. And now I can really see it. I really see the difference. And I think with the how-to, it's number one, being able to identify when you are in that state where you can feel emotion starting to build and layer. And then the second thing that I have recognized in myself more than anything this year, which I have found to be the most transformative thing in my life to date, is being in that uncomfortable pause. And even being in that uncomfortable pause of when you want something, you desire it, you're creating these beautiful vision boards and you are like, I feel it. And you start walking around like it's already yours. And I do find that to be such a powerful thing, to really embody it as if it's already there. It's already a part of you, a part of your life. But to also just take a step back and pay attention to who you are with your family when you shut that door at night, who you are to yourself. How do you treat yourself? What are the things that you resort to when you're pissed off, when you want to completely unleash on someone, when you are just feeling the stress overload of life, of your kids asking a ton of questions when maybe you're trying to send an email or just process a thought without being needed. And I grew up in an environment where it was just explosive, fighting, screaming, yelling. And I'm so able to recognize that part of me that gets so overstimulated so quickly. I'm such a highly sensitive person. All my HSPs, I feel you, I am you. But to not let everything disrupt your nervous system is my biggest life's vision. Like there is not one material thing in this world that could ever overcome that being the number one priority in my life. And I do feel that when we can get to this place of being able to recognize our stuff, our ugly, our mess, and not feel shame or guilt around it, but to really go underneath it, to ask yourself why. And when I was away for the holidays, I had a friend get really upset about something and kind of just like explode, which no judgment, first and foremost. I think it's a very powerful thing to be in the space of observing things around you. And I so clearly identified myself in her where I was like, that's like second nature for me. Like, you piss me off, I will literally knock you at your knees and put you in the ground with my words. Like, I know that about myself. I also don't want to put that side of myself down because I do know if it's there, excuse me, if it's needed, it's there. But that is not the state of being or the state of mind or the energy that I want in my life. So you don't need to like put it down. And in those moments too, I think it is pretty profound to be able to sit with that, like, oh God, that felt terrible. I don't like the way that I feel. And then how do we get to a place where we are not repeating these patterns? Because that is where I believe to really, really walk the walk, we have got to fully own the areas in our life where we are not showing up as the way that we're saying that we want to. And I think that is the difference that creates a ripple effect of change in your life. And it doesn't just change who you are on the inside, it starts to change every single aspect of your life. It changes your relationship with your partner. It changes how you communicate with your kids. And this, by the way, I have to say this does not mean that I don't have freaking explosive moments. Promise you, they're there. I am just really proud of the inner progress I've made to resort more to a pause. A pause now is the number one tool in my toolbox. And to sit in that uncomfortable place of wanting to say the thing so badly or wanting to do the thing so badly because you are just like, it is right there. It is such a reactive nature. But to proactively be in the power of a pause is where you naturally will regulate your nervous system just by making that conscious choice in your mind. I did a Q&A the other day and someone said, how do you regulate your nervous system? Presence, being in the presence and the self-awareness of your breath, of knowing that, coming back to your breath, of watching that inhale, and then being with every single inch of that breath on the exhale is how you immediately take your cortisol levels down. You drop a little closer into your parasympathetic nervous system, your peaceful nervous system. It doesn't mean that you're at a place of peace, yes, but you are choosing peace with your breath. You are choosing peace with a pause. And, I love visualization. I visualize and I feel deeply before I ever put anything down. And this is where a meditation practice, it is so powerful because it is in you. You embody this being, this calm or more relaxed version of yourself. Instead of letting any stressful or anxious energy be the thing that is moving through you all day, was my baseline. I was constantly in that state. And I really wanted to take it a step further this year and understand myself on a deeper level. And I had Doc Amen on the podcast. That episode was so life-changing for me, for so many people, because I said to him, I'm just one of these people that has to work really hard, really consistently, diligently to get myself to even somewhat of a peaceful place. Like, that is absolutely not who I am when I open my eyes in the morning. I'm naturally stressed, anxious, irritable, annoyed at everything. I just, I'm, that's who I've always been. And I have to really work at getting myself to this place, to who I am in this moment, to who I've become and who I'm constantly becoming. And he said something to me that really made me just open up to more support in my life. And he said, when he scans people's brains, and he has scanned over 300,000 brains, wouldn't you want to be open to more support instead of having to work so hard to get yourself there, when you can actually lean into feeling more supported and guided to a more stable place? And brain health and brain optimization is huge on my vision board, really optimizing brain health and cognitive function. And I have struggled with focus my entire life, and getting my brain scanned by him and visually seeing ADHD it was like exhilarating. I felt so, I can't even explain. I was hysterically crying because when you grow up your whole life and you feel like something is just wrong with you, and when you're given a math problem or literally any sort of problem, and it takes so much of your brain capacity to wrap your head around to even remotely get to a solution, that is how I have felt throughout my entire life. So to be able to actually see it and through this incredible scan and have this like scientifically proven to me, it's like I can't even explain the feeling. Like I'm just like, I knew after all these years that there was something going on. And being able to really dive deeper into myself. And I recognize it is an absolute privilege to be able to get your brain scanned. And I'm not saying that everyone has to go out and do that, but I know in life, like where I want to put my hard earned dollars, my energy, and it's towards truly improving myself in every single aspect. And to be able to know more about what's going on under the hood and also seeing just emotional trauma and that I have a sleepy prefrontal cortex, which is why in the morning it takes so much for me to get to A to Z. And I was always late, always unorganized. See how I said always was, and I'm not now. Also vocabulary, what you attach yourself to. And I can say that just through some fine-tuning tweaks of taking Happy Saffron 3 times a day, I get all of this through Amen Clinics. And this is not a sponsored post or a sponsored podcast at all. I'm just so passionate about being able to share things that I'm learning through my own experience to just let people know that they're not alone and there are solutions out there and there's support. And I'm taking a focus supplement. I am in the process of experimenting between that and Ritalin, full transparency, and just seeing what feels best for me. And I'm also taking his PMS relief every day. I used to just take a supplement similar just around my cycle, but now I'm taking it every day and I do feel less of a roller coaster with my moods, which have really kind of run most of my life where like if I was in a mood, I couldn't even get past it. And now through meditation, through movement, through having faith in a strong spiritual practice, I have moved mountains. But now to have additional support, I feel like I can fucking fly. And that is my hope and my wish for every single person listening to this podcast. My word for 2026 is fly. I feel like I have really worked on clearing and aligning. And now I want to embody my truth and who I am unapologetically and just allow the energy and the excitement of every day, of the mundane, of the littlest, tiniest things that live in front of us each and every moment for them to make me feel alive. I lived so much of my life down and in a dark place. And I know that that doesn't have to be a constant. Through changing the way that you think, through aligning your actions and actually changing your habits to habits that support you, that lift you up. Eitan, my Kabbalah teacher, had an incredible episode in his Kabbalah 4 class. And he said there are 2 things in life that you are either a builder or you are a destroyer. And to really ask yourself with every thought that you are thinking, with every action you are taking, with every comment you are making, with every emotion you're exuding, are you building yourself up? Are you building other people up? Or are you destroying? And that hit me so hard. And you know, it's interesting. I was just in a meeting with my team and I like said something. And then I went into my bathroom and I was like, oh, that was a destroying thought and comment. But to be able to identify that, like this is not about walking around being perfect and showing up in a perfect way. This is about being able to call yourself out on your shit, to really recognize where in your life you sell yourself short. Because I can promise you, if you are walking around with a destroying mindset, and a destroying way of being, that vision board is going to stay right there. It's never going to become a living, breathing reality. If you do not pay close attention to who you are being in your everyday life when none of this is on. And it's just eye-opening. And I love listening to things and consuming resources. I don't even want to say content because I spend 50% less time on social media than I did last year. And I feel such a significant difference in my mental health. I really spend the time that I have, like the free time that I have myself, like filling myself up with things that expand my mind, my consciousness, that help me become a better person, not just think about becoming and visualize becoming, like to actually be who you say you want to be, to embody, but to also live and breathe what you're putting out. There's so much talk. Let's really lock in on walking the walk. It's so funny because before I came in here to film this, Dylan was like, do you want to sit and do you want to go through notes? And I was like, no. Like, I want this podcast to be about what is actually coming up for me and less about like any curated sense of anything going on in the world. Like, I really want it to be truthful and I want it to be helpful for people to see your stuff, to wake up to who you really are, but to also who you're being. And just grounding before and allowing the energy to move through you is when you don't have to try and you don't have to perform. You just have to be. You just have to be you. And that is what I find in life to be the most attractive thing about people, like people who just are entirely themselves. Like that is what I want for me. That is what I want for all of us, because it's so comfortable to be around people who are comfortable in their own skin.